What's up guys, and today on Plug and Play we're going to be checking out the new Toneforge Jason Richardson plugin from JST. Alright, so JST and Jason Richardson decided to team up around the time that Jason Richardson was working on his debut album, One. So to me, honestly, of pretty much using all the Toneforge stuff, to me this one's probably the best. So most of the time the Toneforge stuff usually has one amp. This time you have a clean amp, a rhythm amp, and a lead amp. Alright, so getting into the clean amplifier, it's pretty basic in nature. It's got low, shimmer, and high, and basically it controls the lows, the mids and the highs, so it's pretty basic. And you can get some really nice sparkling clean sounds, and this works really well, especially with some of the effects, but we'll get to that later on. Alright, so getting into the rhythm amp, it's pretty much the same thing you're used to seeing. It's got bass, mid, treble, and presence, but there's two other knobs. There's clarity and range. And the clarity, to me, it sort of cleans up the sound a little bit, gets rid of some of those noisy frequencies that you might not want. And the range, I'm pretty sure, controls the amount of the clarity that you want on there. I could be wrong. But it's pretty cool, and you can use that to really clean up your rhythm channel if it's starting to get a little too noisy for you. Alright, so the last one in the amplifier chain is the lead amplifier, and I think that's really cool that they added the addition of a lead amp channel, because you don't have to worry about trying to dial in your rhythm channel that you had previously to sort of poke out of the mix a little bit. And it's cool because it's sonically different from the rhythm amp, so I think that's pretty cool, and it allows you to get a little bit more of a cut-through lead tone than maybe what you would normally have previous. So the lead amplifier is pretty basic in nature too. It has bass, middle, treble, and presence just like the rhythm channel, except on this one there's the edge knob. And what this does is it basically controls the aggression and the power, and you can get a little more juice out of your lead tone. So when you first open up the lead channel, it sounds pretty good right away, but for me, I like a little bit more of a grit and aggression out of my lead tone, so I went and cranked up the edge knob a little bit to get a little more juice out of it. Now, if you're familiar with the Toneforge stuff, the mic section's basically the same. There's a condenser, a 421, a 57, and a 57 off axis. There's two different amps that come with this one. The stock one, basically when you load it up, it's pretty much set to replicate the tone that Jason was going for on his album. Cool thing too is you can load in your own impulse responses if for some reason you're not happy with the ones that come with it, but to me personally, I think these sound really good. But if you want to load in your own, you have that option as well. Alright, now getting into the effects section, there's only three effects that it comes with. It comes with a delay, a reverb, and a lo-fi. And I think these are really cool because those are some of the more common effects that you would use for the guitar. The lo-fi, maybe not so much, but I think it's a cool addition to have in the event of you want to use something like that. And it sounds pretty good. It sounds exactly like the lo-fi effect that Jason got on his record. And then there's the parametric EQ, and I think this is pretty cool to have because in the event of you don't want to throw in any third-party EQ plugins, the one that they have built in is really cool, and I think it's supposed to be modeled after the curves of some of the Waves EQs, which is pretty cool, and save you some money by having all that stuff kind of bundled in together. Alright, now finally it comes with a dynamic controller, and this is somewhat to help control with some of the, if you use 7 or 8 string guitars and you want to get a little bit more control out of the low end, this is pretty much for that, to help control a little bit more of those lows and get a little bit more control of just the overall sonic characteristics that you get from something of a low tune guitar or a 7 or 8 string instrument. And also a cool little side note, the rhythm channel is actually modeled after a PRS Archon, and the lead channel is actually, I think, modeled after a Soldano. So I think that's pretty cool if you have a few different amps to choose when dialing in a tone. Alright, so I would highly recommend checking this plugin out. I'll have all the links in the description below. And as always, thanks for checking it out, and I will see you guys next time on Plug and Play.